So one thing we wanted you guys to be thinking about heading into the weekend, because we're going to hit you with a ton of information on Wednesday about all of the new dishes and everything else going. This is going to be a big change to our service, and it won't be the only change coming down the pipeline, because we're about to buy a cart for the ham slicer that's in my office, and instead of a charcuterie board, we're going to do ham tableside. So we're definitely going to have a couple more tableside preparations. That requires a lot more communication, a lot more planning, training, confidence, practice, you know what I mean? All of that stuff only comes through practice. It is not scary, I can assure you, but there's going to be times when you need my help, there's going to be times when you need Chef's help, you know what I mean? And so we all have to make sure that we're super well versed in how to execute this, because we are charging it at a premium. Okay, so it'll be $65 for this appetizer that'll feed 2 people. Okay, because there's a tableside component, because there's a massive wow factor. You know, this is an experience. It's not just like, here, have your beef, you know what I mean? Or just dropping an appetizer and walking away. So I'm gonna let Chef demo it, but what I really want you guys to be thinking about is how are you selling it, how are you talking about it, and then we'll do it again on Wednesday, you know what I mean? And then we'll start individually training people so that everybody can kind of go through that process. Today's not about the tasting, okay? Today is to get you guys visualizing and thinking about the process. So don't focus so much on the ingredients, because this is not the exact dish that you'll be tasting on Wednesday, but it is very similar components. Okay? Cool. Make sense?
Very good. Yeah.
Take it away, sir.
Thank you. Well, not to ruin the surprise for Wednesday, but we will be serving another 2 items from Avoca Farms, that being Virginia Wagyu. One of them is going to be a Korean style short rib. What makes it Korean style is that it's cut the opposite way than regular short rib is. So it's nice and thin. You don't need to braise it for a long time in order to cook it. That's why it can be done from raw into the stone, no problem, no issues. Okay. The other item that we're going to be presenting on Wednesday is going to be the beef heart, essentially. That is a skewer, very traditional in Peruvian South American cuisine. So we're going to showcase a little bit of that. This whole concept is a wink of Korean barbecue. Not really Korean barbecue, but it's just, you know, kind of our own style. So
I liked the word you used in the tasting the other day. You said homage to Korean barbecue.
It's an homage.
I think that's a very appropriate way to describe it.
So it is definitely, you know, that's the type of concept we're trying to do, except that, as we all know, or I hope most of us know, at Korean barbecue, sometimes we cook our own meat, rather than in this occasion, we're going to be cooking it for the guests, in front of the guests. So I will have my meat over here. You know, it could be the beef heart and the short rib. And then what we're going to do is both of them are going to be already marinated. So I'm going to put it down here. You don't have to worry about seasoning or anything of that. All you got to do is make sure that you're doing it properly. Properly means, huh?
Do you have to cook? Have to serve it? Yes. So the tip comes from.
I warned you.
Oh no, I will do one thing. Yeah.
So spread it out on the
Spread it out.
Make sure everything's touching.
Yeah, we're not taking temperatures. We're not doing none of that, right? So Korean barbecue, the Korean style short rib, which is very similar to this, is gonna be nice and thin, so it will cook literally very fast. And we're not looking for a lot of caramelization. The marinade on it will help caramelize as well, so that just kind of helps us see how it's already almost there. So while this is happening, we're talking about what avoca is, like the sauce, the beef heart with the traditional Peruvian cuisine. And like, have you ever tried that before? Oh, like, what do you think about this? And like, we have Wagyu in Virginia. That's really special. Like, Wagyu comes from Japan, but we actually have the same type of breed of cow. Things like that. Things that knowledge that we can help you get. You know what I mean? The most important thing with this is to feel comfortable about it, and that comes with practice. You know what I mean? You're not to touch the stone whatsoever. Everything will be set up in your cart, so you don't need anything else. So while this is happening, I'm gonna start like building my. Let me get a spoon. I did not bring a spoon. Thank you, Carrie. So what we're gonna start doing is start decorating the plate. We're gonna be wearing gloves too, just in case we need to touch the food. They cannot wear gloves. We're not gonna wear gloves. So we're gonna
using tweezers.
So tweezers and spoon. And it's not very hard. This is a watermelon radish pickle. We are serving this with a pickle ramps right here. And we can go over I'm gonna plate it at the way that, makes more sense. Obviously, it doesn't have to be, it will have a little bit of freedom to kind of like showcase everything. But at the same time, we don't want to just throw things on the plate. We kind of want to put like all the pickles together, and then the sauce, and then the meat. And I'll show you exactly how that goes. So we have a watermelon pickles. This is all these things we're going to be talking about while we are serving the guests, or while we're cooking the meat. The meat is done, by the way.
The meat takes a minute, maybe, to cook.
So
the beef part itself is going to be fully cooked.
Yes. So we got to heat it up. That's
all
it.
you're doing is warming it up. It's more about the show than it is about anything else.
Exactly. So
you're not, Anna, you don't have to worry about like, is it actually cooked or not cooked? Like, that's not the concern.
May I
Let's
just go?
do this for
No,
the-
let's go.
okay. So
What is the third item?
what? I was about to go into that.
Sorry.
All right. So we have pickle ramps. Spring. We're in spring. Ramps is like very, very. One of the most important, vegetables in spring, especially in the area. We get it a lot. Next, we have a pickled watermelon radish. So the ramps are going to be a little bit on the savory side. The watermelon radish is going to be on the sweeter side. And then finally, because we are doing an homage to Korean barbecue, I have made a rhubarb kimchi. So rhubarb kimchi, very nice and tart. So it is a really good balance between the two. Has a little bit of spice, very little, and a little bit of ginger and garlic. So since this is done and that is done, all I gotta worry about is my sauce. My sauce is a ají panca, which is a type of Peruvian chili, which is how we marinate the beef heart on. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna do a little line over here. At the tasting, I did something like this. This will come with practice. That's just a little detail, right? And then we're gonna go ahead and serve this. We're gonna put this right here so it's easier for you to like just put it on. And since we have our spoon and our thing, right? This is the short rib, and now on top of the sauce, I'm doing the heart. The heart, by the way, is a skewer, so all we gotta do is put the skewer over here. So it's very easy. Okay. Last but not least, we're talking about this. Like people are gonna go crazy about it. I mean, you can smell it, you can see it, and then all we gotta do is just garnish it. A little bit of that, and then kind of go like that. And voila.
Very good.
It seems like a lot, but everything is right here. You know what I mean? Your plate is right here. Your sauce is right there. This is hot. All you gotta do is do everything in order. Meat. Talk a little bit about what the meat is. Beef heart, Korean short rib. And then as this is done, we're delivered the message of what it is that we're serving. Now we are, assembling our dish, our plate. Pickles first, sauce, meat, garnish, done. Okay. There's no salt. There's no seasoning component. There's none of that. And I know what some of you are thinking. What if we're really busy? That's where I come in. That's where Chef Bill comes in. Kyle comes into that. And if we have to, train somebody else, we'll do that. This is not. And I figured this out on my own. It's not as intimidating as I thought it was gonna be. As I am thinking about this dish, this whole setup, I'm like, thinking, but what if, this, what if that, like, what if the meat, like, because you can think about how long the meat is gonna take. But then I did it in front of Mr. Mars and Mr. Cruzy and Chef Bill, which is not the most relaxing crew or audience to be doing this for the first time on. And I'm telling you, it was very, very approachable, very executable, very easy.
If you make this your Mount Everest, it will be your Mount Everest. If you embrace it and you understand it, you know what I mean? And you just take a deep breath. It's not that complicated, okay? Before this restaurant, right, when I was down at the lodge at Sea Island, we had all Guéridon servers, right? So the servers made Caesar salad tableside, steak au poivre, bananas Foster. They were carving the shared steaks tableside. Okay, all doing the same amount of volume that we do, all with the same size team that we have, and no specific people dedicated to that. Okay, so it's 100% possible. It's all in how we communicate, how we prepare ourselves, you know what I mean? How we make sure that the cart's set up every single day. Okay, so nobody should be freaking out, but that's why we're talking about this today, so that we're not surprising you with it on Wednesday while you're also trying to absorb all of the rest of the information that's coming your way. Okay, because I want you guys to think about it. I want you guys to ask really great questions on Wednesday. How are we going to set these things up? Think about scenarios. Like the number one scenario that I can think of is, what if we have 5 of these on fire at the same time and we have 1 cart, right? This thing fits this plate, right? Doesn't rock, doesn't slide. You can put 5 plates right on top of it. Build 1. You know what I mean? You also have a lovely little cabinet down here for you to hide more plates if you need to. Okay? Pull out another plate, put it on top. If you have to flip the stone over, turn the fire on while you're cooking so that when you are finished at one table, the other side of that stone is hot. You flip it over, go.
With this right here, you can do 2, if not 3 tables.
Okay?
You know what I mean?
So we have thought through those scenarios. Okay? So if you think it's going to be really complicated, I promise you it's going to be really complicated. If you embrace it and practice.
Yes, please.
I have no problem to learn and try to do it, chef. But what happened, example, let me give you example. When we have one serving assistant, and it's just only Catherine, us, and Oscar.
What did we say?
No, I said, but what happened if the chef is busy? And
We're always going to be busy.
yeah,
What
I
happens if the
understand.
sky falls? What do we do when the sky falls?
The only, it's great. We're gonna do our best and we're gonna learn and whatever. But what I try to say, we need a lot of support because first of all, is the help that we have. There is no time for us to do this. Not
There
because
is
we
time.
don't want to. It's a really nice experience. I don't tell you that. It is wonderful for the guests see.
This is where we're going to stop. Okay? Because before we've even started, we've already started making excuses. And that's what we're not going to do. We are not going to make excuses as to why we cannot do this. Okay? We are going to challenge ourselves to figure out how we can do this and how we need to communicate with each other and who needs to support. Like I said, if I have to do it, if Chef has to do it, we'll teach people how to do it. I'm not concerned about that part.
Okay.
If we
Okay?
put this in the menu.
We're also not going to sell 100 of these a night. Okay? It's meant to serve 2 people, and it's $65. So if we sell 4, 5, you know what I mean?
This was
That's
appetizer,
what.
chef?
This is an
Appetizer.
appetizer. Okay?
Question.
Share that potential.
How do we clean the stone? Do we have to clean it
No,
in
you do
between,
not
or we
clean
don't
the stone.
Okay.
You flip it, and we
Right.
will clean the stone, and we're going to have more stones in the oven. So
Okay.
if you get to table 3
Okay.
and you need a hot stone,
Right.
Chef, give me a stone.
you know what I mean? You let us know. We bring a stone,
Okay.
and we go.
Okay.
No,
Great.
as long as we have a support.
We will
it's
have the
perfectly
support.
fine.
We will create the support.
Yeah.
We are going to screw this up at least 10 times in the very beginning, right? I know that we are. We know that we are. We need to look ourselves in the mirror and we need to say, okay, you know what I mean? But like leading up to the rollout, everybody needs to be practicing this once a week. You know, whatever you need to do to make yourself feel more comfortable with it.
Can I practice?
Right now, no.
Yeah,
But
no.
this upcoming week, absolutely.
Yeah.
Lexi,
Okay, so you said you can heat it and then flip it. Do we flip it?
Yes.
Do you guys flip it?
you flip it.
Are there like
Yeah, I wanted to
well,
see
I'm
that.
thinking
Kitchen
you have
towel.
over there.
Oh, okay.
You'll have a
She will have
kitchen
a
towel.
towel.
Okay, great.
Come on this side of the cart because you guys are looking at it from the guest facing side.
If you
okay?
haven't seen it, you
so
gotta see.
you've got that where we can put the skewers. Okay, we've got insulated drawers
Glove. Oh, we're not
where we
using
can store whatever it is that we need to store. Okay, we have the little drawer down here, so if you need to have a stash of extra towels or extra gloves or extra whatever we need, we've got plenty of space to make this thing completely self-sufficient. Okay, it is not that complicated. Boom. Okay, flip it.
You just said not to touch it. I was confused.
Of course
Just wanted
not.
to make sure.
No, we got.
Okay.
We're
Yeah.
searing meat on.
Don't touch it with your bare. But it's not going to kill you. Okay, it's not. You're not going to die. Your hand's not going to burst into flames. It's not going to fall off.
So we turn the heater on first
Okay.
and then flips, and then we can start cooking right away.
Correct.
Right? Okay.
Okay, and we can practice that too. Okay, we can practice the 2-table flip and see how that works, and you know what I mean. But we have to put ourselves in that scenario. We've got to practice it.
Anything is hard at the beginning, you know.
Oscar gets asked next, Brett. And then
What are you eating, the guys?
any other?
Oh, no,
Does
was
that
fine.
answer your
yes,
question?
That answered
Okay.
your question.
That answered
Sure.
my question. So
Okay, Brett.
How long do we need to heat the stone underneath the flame to get a good cook?
You don't.
No, the
It's
stone's
ready to
hot.
go,
Like, so
yeah.
But you
stone's
just said
coming.
when we flip it, you have to
So
turn the heater on. How
if
long?
you know
Yeah.
that you're going to another table right afterwards, or somebody's going to come, then while you're cooking, I want you to have the stone on.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not for a really long time, but just to make sure that it has contact with heat. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes.
what I was
You know what I mean? Like not a really long time.
Gotcha.
You leave it on. You can leave it on, chef?
You can.
2 to 3 minutes.
We're going to practice. Okay. This is why we're doing this today.
Yeah.
So you guys can like freak out now, and then 3 days from now, you're going to have digested this, and you're going to come in, and you're going to have better questions, and we're going to practice. Okay? And then we're doing this with like 2 weeks from Wednesday is when we roll. So we've got 2 weeks to practice.
Practice.
Okay?
Let's go practice every day when we
Exactly.
be here, chef.
Exactly.
Yes.
And our level of confidence is how this dish is going to be sold. If we are not confident, it's going to fall flat. You know what I mean?
No, it's kind of
Looks good.
fun.
It's fun.
It is
Right?
fun.
It's fun.
See, now that you're not freaking out anymore.
So my advice on this is because
See,
the biggest concern is the time consuming. This right here
Anticucho.
is very easy, right? So because the time consuming is what I think is the factor that we gotta really like nail down, right? So what I recommend is the moment you put yourself in front of the table, the first thing you do, as well as saying hello, this is whatever, as you presented the dish, the first thing you do is put the beef on the thing.
Correct.
That's it. As we're gonna get really good at talking and plating and flipping at the same time. All right, we're gonna get really good at that. But it has to be, the beef has to be the first thing that goes in here. That way, while this is cooking, we're talking about avoca. We want to cover as much as we can. We're talking about avoca, and we're building our plate, which is not very hard.
Not a lot.
You know what I mean? So but the goal is by the time these 3 pickles are on the plate, the sauce is on the plate. When that happens, that has to happen before the beef is ready. If the beef is ready and we're still building that means we're not timing it right.
But
You
that's
know
going
what
to
I mean?
take practice.
For sure.
Right? And the first one that any single one of us goes to the table, to what Chef said earlier, your heart's going to be in your throat, and you're going to be like, oh, what am I doing? And you're going to be freaking out, right? But then you're going to do it better, right? And the next time you're going to feel more comfortable, and the next time you're going to feel more comfortable. And so we will set up the stages, we will set up it's not going to look exactly like that. So don't focus too much on that. We wanted you guys to be thinking about the process.
Yes.
Okay?
And then we come a chef.
Maybe? Okay, and then the next step, everybody gets to learn how to carve ham.
Okay, let me do
That's
Okay?
I'm gonna learn
Which
with
is
you
gonna be
guys.
fun.
You look terrified over there.
I know.
Oh, look at
I
this.
can't wait to do this. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
So it's still hot. So you see?
Still hot.
Right now it will take a little longer, but you can still cook one batch. Yeah, it will take a little longer, but you can still do it.
We're gonna get all this, chef?
Okay, so we will go over all of this again with the actual components on Wednesday. Okay, but I want you guys thinking about this, take notes,